Coming up on DTNS, we look back at our 2022 predictions. Which came true and which ones were mine? This is the Daily Tech News Show for Thursday, December 29th, 2022 in Los Angeles. I'm Tom Merritt.
In Studio Colorado, I'm Shannon Morse.
From the Atlanta area, I'm Nica Montford.
And in Philadelphia, I'm Stephanie Humphrey.
And I'm the show's producer, Roger Chang.
Folks, welcome to the DTNS Holiday Week 2022 Predictions Results episode, where we look back on the predictions we made about technology all the way back a year ago in December 2021 and see how they actually turned out. How's everybody feeling about your predictions as we get ready to see how we did?
I'm going to say 50-50.
I'm not feeling too good at all.
Got to stay positive.
Yeah. Listen, I like doing this because it holds our feet to the fire. Not enough people do this. So I appreciate that all of you were willing to come and say, you know what, let's see what I said. Let's evaluate how we did. It's not that you'll get it wrong. Everybody gets them wrong. It's when you get it right. That's what makes it worth doing it.
That's the beauty part.
Exactly. All right, let's start with you, Shannon. Your first prediction that we'll cover was that Google would release a Wear OS smartwatch using their own hardware, such as Tensor or their Titan M2 chipset.
So I would say technically I was incorrect. They did release a Wear OS smartwatch, and it was made with their own hardware, but the chipsets that they chose were not their own hardware. They actually went with a Samsung Exynos 9110, as well as two Cortex A53 cores. So the internals were not Google, but the rest was.
I think we give it to her. What do y'all think?
I mean, are we doing like half points?
We could do half
partial
point.
credit. Can we do partial credit?
I'm okay with partial credit. Yeah.
I'm looking at the fact that she said we'll release a Wear OS smartwatch using their own hardware, such as she left a little wiggle room there.
That was a
did.
suggestion. So
Yeah.
you were technically right, I guess.
Technically, you were right. Yeah.
All right. We're giving you the point. You get it.
Thanks. I appreciate that point.
What about this one? Late 2022, we'll see Google start teasing a foldable Android phone, but it won't release until 2023.
Okay, this one's fun because in just like the past couple of weeks or in the last week, we've started to see leaks of renders and dimensions of a Pixel Fold phone. So we have an idea of what it looks like, but these are leaks. So I don't necessarily know if Google has, leaked these to the press or if this is something that people have internally kind of gotten through other means. And we also don't know if these are factually correct yet. But we do know that Google has announced that they're going to be making a foldable in 2023. So that is something that we can look forward to. But so far, Google has not specifically said yes, this is what it looks like. So yeah, we've seen leaks and that's about it. But I'm very excited given that this has just happened in the last week.
Yeah, you're making it under the wire there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about this one though, because you said they would tease it. And I don't know if a leak counts as a tease.
I don't think it counts personally, since it could be incorrect. We do not know specifically yet. So I would say don't give me that point.
Stephanie, Nica, what do you think?
I'll be honest to myself.
I guess if it's all kind of based on rumor and speculation, we can't really say yes. Because Google's not actually releasing or teasing. So I think we may have to say no on this one.
Now, here's the thing. We, pulling back the veil, we do record this before the actual absolute end of the year. That's true. We give her a provisional 0 with the idea.
Yeah, because we still have time. There's still time.
Yeah.
There's still a couple of weeks left.
That's true. I mean, they could come out with a confirmation on their Twitter account. That's usually where they come out with leak confirmations. So I'm definitely going to be keeping tabs on it because, if the specs are correct, it's looking pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about it.
We'll update the show notes or run a scroll or something. All right.
News.
Yeah. Your last one here is Log4Shell will lead to several data dumps and leaks in 2022 from vulnerable servers that attackers were actively targeting before the patches became available.
This was correct. So we did have, for example, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, here in the United States. They even came out with information back in July saying that like 130 gigs of data was stolen via these Log4Shell vulnerabilities through VMware Horizon. So VMware Horizon was the really big one that people were talking about over the summertime, but there were also unpublicized leaks and information internally with businesses that I don't necessarily have access to, but I know happened, that included data leaks that happened from Log4Shell. But given that information isn't necessarily public, the one that I'm going to stick with will be the VMware Horizon one. That was a really big one. So it has been a major issue, and it continues to be a problem to this day. Log4Shell is still a vulnerability that a lot of companies have not patched. But given patches are now available, the prediction that I gave in this video was correct. It indeed came correct within the first couple of months of 2022.
So how are we feeling? We giving her the point?
Give her the point.
Yeah.
I mean, even if this is a little bit like saying,
that one.
The basketball is arcing towards the basket and you're like, I'm going to make that shot. Like this is a hard one to get wrong, honestly.
Yeah, it was.
But
because Log4Shell had started, I believe, in like Q4 of 2021. So we already knew it was going to be a problem. And then it kind of expanded from there. So it was a good one for me to put in there. It was a strong one. Yeah.
It was strategic predicting, right?
It was very strategic.
It's a good one. You get points for that, if nothing else. All right, Stephanie, you ready to go for yours?
All righty, let's go.
First one you made was we will see another even more catastrophic AWS outage.
I don't know that I can get maybe partial credit for this one.
Yeah, because there were some outages.
There were some outages. I mean, I was thinking back to the one that happened back last December that just completely obliterated so much, so many different services. So I don't think we've seen something to that magnitude, but we've definitely seen some fairly major outages. Specifically this month, there was something in Ohio, in the eastern region that affected AWS for about an hour and a half almost. So, I'm happy to not take this point if that means that we have not seen, outages on the level of last December. So, but we've seen them. So, and I mean, that's kind of inevitable, but I'm happy to not take this point considering we haven't seen anything as bad as what happened last year.
But in your prediction, you did not say that it had to be as bad. You just said catastrophic. So, what defines?
Well, it says even. Well, it said even more catastrophic. So I think I was going off even worse than last year. So I mean, I'm happy to be wrong about this one. I'm just gonna leave that one there. I'm happy to be wrong.
I feel like if you had just said we'll see another AWS outage, you get a full point.
Right.
So it's even more.
I'm going to go with half.
Yeah. Do we give her half?
I'll take my partial half. Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to say half.
Partial credit.
All right. Yeah. We'll do that.
Cool.
Your second one was a couple got married in the metaverse. There will be more metaverse relationships. Divorce.
I think I should get a point for this one. We're definitely seeing the rise of, platforms and spaces in the metaverse where people can meet up and get married. Marriage is still not technically legal in the metaverse, but people are having ceremonies there, and it's become an entire industry. So I think this one kind of has panned out pretty well.
Yeah. And you put a question mark by that divorce. That was not part of the prediction. That was just like a kind of a bonus thought. there. So yeah. And
that would have been extra credit if that came true too.
Right.
Right.
There's even like international marriages going on. I've seen, right? Where people get married by Zoom so that they're able to get married even though they're not in the place where the license is or something. I can't remember all the details, but
there's all kind of different things happening now. And, now people need a software engineer in addition to a wedding planner. And it's become this entire industry, so it'll be interesting to see going forward. I guess, I'm not making predictions for next year, but it'll be interesting to see if we find a way to make these marriages somehow legal, because they are sort of cementing or officiating the marriage through NFT and blockchain now. It's still not the same as actually being married legally in any particular state, but it'll be interesting to see how they make these legal if that's possible.
Yeah, as I understand it, you have to do the paperwork for the marriage still, the license and everything, the traditional way.
Absolutely.
And then you could have your ceremony in the metaverse because nobody really cares what the ceremony is on.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Full point for that one, Shannon, Nica?
Yep. I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Cool.
All right. Then the final one, Apple introduces hardware that finally makes VR cool / mainstream.
Now, if we go off of finally makes cool mainstream, then maybe we don't get the point. But, we are, Apple is introducing a headset. The date keeps getting moved all over the place for next year. So I think the latest is later on in the year 2023. Will it make VR cool and mainstream? I don't know about that, just because I think the potential price point is still going to be out of reach for so many people. It's looking to be around $2,000 to $2,500 for this thing. So I don't think that makes it mainstream for anybody, even the biggest Apple aficionados. That price point is just too high to make this something that is going to see mass adoption when it comes out next year.
This is where we need rollover predictions.
Yeah,
because Apple hasn't introduced anything yet. So you haven't got the details. You haven't got the things. Apple itself has not said a thing about this, except maybe to investors, right? But I bet by the end of next year, you'll be able to point to this and say, nailed it, right? It was just, they didn't make the deadline.
They didn't make the deadline, but there are, patents out for different software and all this other stuff. So I think it's,
it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen.
It's coming around the bend.
Yeah. But will we all be wearing them? Probably not.
Big shrug. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shannon, Nica, are we giving any points here?
I'm going to say 0, but it's a 0 with a very positive motion. Of like, you were ahead of your time, girl. You go.
0 with an asterisk. I'll take
0 with an asterisk of that's a
and
really
year's
good
still
one.
not over yet.
And we know it's going to happen.
We
year's still not over yet.
Yeah. Who knows?
They may surprise us.
They may surprise us still. All right, Nica, you ready?
I'm ready.
So your first prediction was affordability, availability, and mainstream adoption AR/VR headsets of AR/VR headsets, especially for typical in-person events like concerts, sporting events, multi-stream in-person, and virtual events.
Yeah, I gave too much detail.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you just stopped early in that sentence. Yeah.
Yeah, because the affordability kind of knocks me out, because I didn't specifically say Apple. I just said VR headsets overall. And we did get the announcement from Facebook, Meta, about the Meta Quest Pro, but that's starting at $1,500. We just talked about the coming around the bend of Apple with their Reality OS or Reality One or whatever they're going to eventually call it. So in theory, and I guess technically, the headsets, particularly on the Meta side, have been announced, but I think the affordability really kind of knocks the wind out of the sails a bit, because, $1,500 for the Meta Quest Pro, the assumption is that the Reality One or the Apple headset or Apple glasses or whatever they're going to call it is going to possibly be around $2,000. So the affordability, the availability will be there. The availability is there, but the adoption and affordability, I think, are really, unfortunately, hard sells, because not everyone is going to be able to spend that amount of money on a headset. We have the current Oculus, which is I think like $300 from Meta,
the Quest
that people,
2, right?
The Quest 2 that people have and use quite a bit. But as far as, the, I guess, more mainstream type usage, I think it's going to be a hard sell, especially on the prediction of the affordability angle. So kind of, but I don't know.
Yeah, Quest raising the price was unfortunate there. I think I'd give you more credit on the adoption part than you're giving yourself. Like we definitely saw more people buying these things. There was a Blackpink concert in Fortnite, but it was kind of a metaverse VR presentation where if you were looking at it in VR, you could zoom in and around. There was some World Cup stuff that's being done in VR. I don't know, Stephanie, you're the one that we just were like, nope, they didn't make it, so you don't get credit. Yeah, how are you feeling here?
I think we all felt like this whole Meta, and Meta more than anybody probably felt like this whole metaverse thing was going to be a lot bigger thing than it ended up being. And who knows eventually where it ends up going. But I think as far as concerts and sport, I mean, I guess since we have seen those things, I'd be willing to give, partial credit.
Partial. Okay.
Yeah. Because it's not like those things have not happened at all. I think they maybe haven't happened at the scale that, we may have all expected them to.
Yeah.
But they have happened. So we got to give partial credit.
I agree.
All right. So we're giving you a half point there.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, because you got some of it right. I think you could judge your next one as being true for all the wrong reasons.
Right. Exactly.
Cryptocurrency goes mainstream.
And I guess the definition is, what are we considering mainstream? We have all of these bankruptcies of these cryptocurrencies. We have these crypto billionaires all of a sudden losing all their money. Some of them, unfortunately, losing their lives. People, really just kind of tanking their investments in this, because I mean, it's just been over this past year, it's just been repeated issues with the way that crypto is being managed, how it's being handled. With the Voyager, it was like, we lost all your money, but we'll give you Voyager coins. And it's like, what am I going to do with this? That's not equal to the actual dollar amount that I put in there. So in the sense that everybody's talking about it, there are a lot of people who have invested in it, from, celebrities and, the super wealthy down to your everyday man who has, sank money into crypto. So I guess technically it went mainstream, but not necessarily in the best way.
Yeah, what's more mainstream than scandal and
seriously?
Yeah.
And like you kind of got to give it. She didn't say mainstream where everyone would have some. It's just,
I would say that's a point.
It's now a part of the public lexicon, and
definitely, yeah.
So I think that one gets a point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a good example of how to craft your predictions, right?
Exactly. It is kind of vague and broad.
It could go either way.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, the first one was a little bit too detailed.
Right.
The second was like,
this one was perfect.
The surface.
All right, and then your third one was easy availability of electric vehicles, including a massive increase in charging stations.
So for this particular one, I think we may have just gotten this in under the wire. I believe middle of this week, General Motors announced that they were rolling out a new program of installing the first of 40,000 new EV chargers. We have the Biden infrastructure bill to kind of point to, where they allotted, toolkits for a network of 500,000 electric vehicle chargers. And this includes not just, the larger cities and metropolis areas. This includes rural areas as well. So I think this one hit as well.
I mean, the only thing I'd pick on would be the word massive. How you interpret the word massive?
I mean, I'm not mad at that though, especially based on what Nica just said about possibly 500,000 new chargers, 40,000 from GM. Like that
could be massive.
Yeah, exactly. We can make the case for massive for that. So yeah, I mean,
I guess in relation to where it is now or what it was before, that is, if you look at the relativity aspect, it is quite a jump. Every car company now is coming out with the EV line if they don't already have it. And it's becoming, the cars themselves are becoming more popular. So by default, people need places to charge their vehicle if they're using it to travel around their state, around the country. So I think so. I think it only from here, I think it will only get bigger.
Yeah. All right.
I give her a point.
I give the point for that one. Yeah.
We're giving you the point. Good job. All right. Folks, how did you do on your own personal predictions? Let us know by email. We've got an email address. Send us your thoughts or anything. feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Now it's time to get to my predictions. So I throw myself on the mercy of the court. Here we go. The first one I said, and I think we were all, even if we weren't exactly like excited about cryptocurrency, we were all thinking it seemed to be going up, in many ways. I said, and this isn't a cryptocurrency thing, but it's in that realm, decentralized identity projects would get momentum and uptake. So ways to validate your identity in a Web3 quote unquote way, like some way that where your identity, you didn't have to log into a central server controlled by a company. You'd be able to validate your identity some other way.
Are we including like passkeys and things like that in there?
Yes.
Because
he's like, if that gets me my point,
if that gets me a partial credit, then yes, we are.
I think passkeys are becoming very popularized. A lot of brands are implementing passkeys. For example, Chrome is. We just learned about that on day of recording. So yeah. I think that definitely gives you at least half a point.
Yeah, passkey honestly was probably in the back of my mind, but really wasn't what I was thinking. I was thinking more about solid, those Tim Berners-Lee's Inrupt,
like verify,
stuff like that. But if y'all are going to give me the half point for passkeys, I'll take it. Sure.
Yeah,
and I mean, again, momentum and uptake is subjective, so it maybe didn't get the type of momentum you were expecting, but we are seeing things move in that direction. So I'm cool with the half point.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's fair. My second one, oh my gosh. When Matter launches, expected in June, which it didn't launch in June. I should have just predicted it won't launch in June. Would have nailed it. It launched in October. It will measurably boost smart home adoption, which it hasn't because it just launched in October. I thought it would launch in June and it would boost things more.
We'll probably see that get boosted a lot more next year. We'll probably hear about it a ton at CES in January. But I haven't seen a boost in smart home adoption. It's
way too early. It's probably too early for it to launch in June. And really, this was an incredibly aggressive prediction.
It was aggressive. Yeah.
But I think it will. I think there's another roll. Like if I could roll it over, then it will eventually, I think, have an effect.
Yeah.
It just, it wasn't going to have an effect that fast.
But the fact that Matter did ultimately launch and it is starting to kind of take root a little bit. I mean, I'd give you half for that. For just
that's incredibly generous.
for the fact that Matter did launch. And I think once people really understand what it can do and the way it can improve, if you choose to go the smart home route, I think it's going to ramp up pretty quickly once people really understand, what it is and what it can do for them.
I agree. Tom, you should just roll that one over.
Yeah. That's going to go in my rollover minutes for anybody who remembers what rollover minutes used to be. All right. This last one, Stephanie was very skeptical of this one when I made it. And I don't feel, I was going to say, I don't feel good about being right because of the reason, but I said the chip shortage will end. And it turns out, because of inflation and a decline in purchasing power, we've got chip gluts.
Because we're
now.
all broke.
We can't afford to to buy chips.
We're
so now
priced
there's
out.
plenty of them. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's the same as Nica's, cryptocurrency goes mainstream. It went mainstream for all the wrong reasons. And same here, that the chip shortage ended for all the wrong reasons. So
hopefully this means that the chip costs will decline and we'll be able to afford building computers again next year. And
we have seen some GPU prices coming down, which is a good sign.
Right.
But you got to get the point, though.
I don't have to feel good about it. But I'll
Get the point.
But it's yours.
all right. So now it's time to turn to Sarah Lane's predictions.
Hey, everybody. Sarah here with my predictions for what was going to happen in 2022. So I was feeling pretty good about this first one, and I think I got partially right. Certainly not all the way right. But I had predicted that Apple would announce a VR headset this year. Didn't happen. Still probably happening. Well, it is happening, but it didn't happen in 2022. But what I did say was the VR part of the announcement would be that there would be a big Fitness Plus tie-in. Fitness Plus is obviously Apple's way to do a variety of exercise classes and yoga and stretching and meditation and stuff from more or less the comfort of your own home. And up until now, it's needed an Apple Watch. So at the end of 2021, I didn't have an Apple Watch. I do now, so I've since gotten used to Fitness Plus, and it's a really good product. But a lot of people are going to be left out if they didn't have Apple Watches or had some sort of alternative smartwatch. So what Apple did announce when it announced the Series 8 Apple Watch and some updates to Fitness Plus earlier this year, kind of in its fall announcement, big lineup, was that Fitness Plus was going to be able to use without an Apple Watch. So, I was kind of onto something there. We didn't get that VR headset. We might not even get it in 2023. In fact, it's looking like 2024, but you never know. But let's call me 25% right on that one. Moving on, Elon Musk stepping down as Tesla CEO was my second prediction. Didn't get that one right. Very much a fail. Elon Musk has been in the news for the better part of this year, to my anger and fury. Not because for any reason, just because sometimes I just don't want to talk about the same person every dang day. But he took over Twitter, is still in that seat, is still the Tesla CEO. Don't think that's going to change before the year comes to a close. So he definitely dominated the news, but not for the reasons that I thought he would. But in my defense, I did think that his problematic being in the news was going to lead to him having to step down as Tesla CEO, maybe because of, some sort of conflicts of whatever. And no, he sure doubled down and just bought another company instead. So now we're in a very different situation. Finally, and this one was a little bit of a softball to myself, but I said NFTs, while now observed with caution, would be something that we used to do and we used to talk about and we all lost money on in 2021. I think that's pretty fair. Now, I'm going to say, full disclosure, I've never bought an NFT. I've dabbled in crypto just a bit. And I got a little sucked into it at the end of 2021 because there were just high valuations for things and people seemed to be able to make money out of thin air. That has not been the case. A year later, we've seen a lot of projects, NFTs among them, really plummet in value. And doesn't mean that there's not still a lot going on there, but I think a lot of people lost money and just said, okay, hold on, I need to be a little bit more careful about what kind of stuff I'm getting involved in the future. Like, what is this? What does it mean to me? Who's the community? And am I really a person who's buying art anyway? Or creating art? A lot of creators have started to think a little bit harder about how they fit into this whole world. And I think 2023 is going to be a lot more of the same. We're still trying to figure it out. But those were my predictions. I think I did okay. I've never gotten 3 for 3 in any year that we've done this before, so I feel fine. How well do you guys think that I did?
Yeah,
obviously number 2 is wrong. Yeah.
Number 2,
no point for number 2.
Right.
I think number 3
is negative because he got a different CEO title, an additional.
Right.
Yeah, -1 for Sarah.
Sorry, Sarah.
Number 3, I think is kind of
I think it's another one of those, like, in fact, I don't even think it's right for the wrong reasons. Like, she kind of said, like, it'll be something we did and talked about and lost money on, and those are all true.
Yeah.
Like, are people still talking about NFTs? Because I haven't heard that.
Yeah, but she didn't say we'd keep talking about it. She said, we'll do it, we'll talk about it, and then we'll lose money.
Like, if you want to get,
trending
into the semantics, it feels like it feels like she's saying it'll be something we did and then forgot about.
Yeah, and then lost money on, and then it fades.
I don't think we're going to forget about them. I think they're still going to be around and everything.
That's right.
But I think I think it's accurate enough.
Yeah,
I agree.
No, I'm with that. I'm with you on that.
I think that's a point.
Yeah,
that's the point. Yeah, that's
and
definitely.
Then she's arguing for a half point on the Fitness Plus launch, even though there was no VR headset to go with it.
So they did launch Fitness Plus.
Mm-hmm.
But
and they tied it into the Apple Watch.
There's no hardware. Yeah, except for the Apple Watch.
You don't need the Apple Watch. They launched Fitness Plus, so you don't need the Apple Watch anymore.
But there's no headset hardware.
Yeah.
Yet.
Right, because it was pretty much all about the headset. It wasn't about the fact that Fitness Plus was the predictions about the headset. It's not about really Fitness Plus launching or not launching or
She added the Apple Watch will no longer be required. Maybe a quarter point.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to get technical, we love Sarah. Like, I'd be happy with a quarter point.
All right.
But it seems like
posterity's sake, we'll give her a quarter point.
Yeah, the rest of all of that seems sort of predicated
Nika's
on
like, come on, let's just go with it. Don't be greedy. All right. Well, there you go. That is our check-in on our predictions from 2022. Thanks you all for being willing to do this. This is good fun, and I appreciate you being good sports about it. We will now check in with Roger Chang for the final tally of how we did. Roger,
drum roll,
please tell us.
So let's do a quick overview. Shannon got 2. Stephanie got 1.5. Nica got 2.5.
Oh,
Tom got 2, and Sarah got 1 1/4.
Nica.
Nica
Wow,
wins.
and I was not confident.
Right.
You. I'll take the win.
Yeah, take the win.
Seriously.
Way to
Because I
go.
wasn't confident at all.
Well done.
Those were
and
good
then
predictions.
now you start a consulting business. That's the next step.
Right.
Based on your past wins. Future performance is no predictor of past performance, and then you charge people $10,000 an hour. Yeah.
Yep.
I will say overall, all of you did a pretty good job, like of reading the tea leaves, as it were, and kind of extrapolating what would happen. I mean, some of the stuff is like, Black Swan stuff, like the whole Elon Musk thing.
Right.
But for the most part, I mean, I think everyone did better than they thought they would.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah, nothing was outlandish. It was all within the realm. So yeah, good stuff. Of course, everybody stick around. We will be doing our predictions episode for next year we'll be subjecting a whole new crew of people to the scrutiny. So keep your eye out for that in the feeds. But before we go here, big thanks to everybody here for participating. Stephanie, Humphrey, well done. Congratulations. Happy New Year. Where can folks find more of what you got going on?
You can just follow me all around the web at Tech Life Steph. I'm usually hanging out on Instagram most of the time. So at Tech Life Steph.
Fantastic. Nica Montford, our champion. Where can folks find more of what you got going on?
I am at Tech Savvy Diva on all the social media outlets, but for now, you can find me mostly on Twitter.
Okay. Shannon Morse, what about you?
YouTube.com/Shannon Morse, spelled just like my name. I'm actually doing a predictions video, which was very much inspired by DTNS, where I brought on some of my tech YouTuber friends and asked them what they think is going to happen next year. So if you want to hear even more predictions after watching the DTNS prediction video, check it out.
Excellent. The more predictions, the better. Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate it. And thanks to everyone for helping support the show all year long in 2022. We could not have done it without you. You can always support the show at any level. And we've got new reward merchandise. Every 3 months you stay a patron, you'll get a different item with Len Peralta's 9-year anniversary art on it. DTNS is turning 9 on January 2nd. So sign up now if you haven't already. dailytechnewsshow.com/Patreon. No live shows this holiday week. We're normally live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. That'll come back January 3rd at dailytechnewsshow.com/live. But we are back tomorrow with our tech predictions for 2023 with Will Smith, Ayaz Akhtar, and Andrea Jones-Roy. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.